to train people in day in and day out on how to become better interviewers, how to take a look at their own unconscious biases, on recognizing that, there's a lot of cultural diversity out there and we're globally hiring. So that means that our own biases might come into the room when we're trying to make decisions. And so it's talking through that to a lot of our different teammates. But I think that one of the most exciting things that I've been able to do was help with opening, well, not completely opening up because I'm not going to say there's an office there, but making some of the first hires in Calgary. So Calgary was one of the lowest locations for Syndio this year. And we had not had anybody in Calgary just yet. But the hope was to obviously be able to have some people on that coast or at least in that time zone and be in another country because Syndio is a global organization. Um, so having the opportunity to open up there, required and still does require quite a bit of ideas. Like I'm still working through partnerships right now at this time to see where we can open up another source for just more diverse candidates. Because despite the fact that I have been able to find diverse candidates when it comes to ethnicity and race, I have not found as many female candidates as I would like to find, or female identifying candidates as I would like to find. But I am very excited to say that now we do have plenty of employees in Calgary. We actually started with zero at some point last year. And at this point, we now have had, I'm going to say I've already hired at least 3 folks in Calgary, and my teammate has also hired 3. So we now have at least 6 people already in Calgary since last year, and we're still hiring there. So it's an exciting time. I know that down the line, they're likely going to need a people person in Calgary, just not yet.
Very nice. Well, it sounds like the expansion's going well. We're getting close to time here, so I want to end with one question. So, outside of what you do with Syndio, you have started your own company. So, tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about what was your inspiration for starting it, and what do you think the future holds?
Yeah, so I opened up First Gen Lab when I was at Compliant, just largely because I noticed at the time that I was helping a lot of people with their resumes and helping them with interview prep and stuff. And I really needed a platform to put that under. So I was like, okay, who am I helping? Largely first generation folks like myself getting into the professional world. And so that's kind of like where I went with it. Then after, Compliant, unfortunately, they didn't succeed as much as I would have hoped. But after that after I was no longer with the organization, I kind of really leaned into it. And that's basically how I got my contract at Syndio. Syndio does require me to be 40 hours a week, so I don't really have much time to work with other organizations, but I do provide a lot of feedback and product feedback to other founders in the recruiting space. So I worked with Draft Board, unfortunately, before they ended up, sunsetting. And I believe I was part of the loud crowd that said, you need to have a larger incentive for recruiters here. Because people do start off really excited and then, it was a downhill from there. But more than one platform that I test out on a regular basis and have given feedback to. So that also falls under First Gen Lab. But the idea basically is I work with you to help you figure out what it is that you're working on and give you insight into what I know. I recognize that my expertise is something that not everyone has. And so I'm able to share it, whatever kind of questions people ask. So most of the time people have been really curious, okay, so you're a recruiter. How can you help me in regards to using my product or testing it out or recommending it to people?